Hey y'all, how you doing? I am conscious that this is kind of the sleepy time of the afternoon, and that there's a big temptation to kind of deal with that by looking at our phones. I'm going to try and entertain you and illuminate this conversation and hopefully give you something to think about. I first want to start with gratitude. What an honor to be here. What an honor to be in a room full of kindred spirits who all day, every day are working to make the world better and to elevate impact. Can we give you a round of applause, please? Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for not falling asleep. So I found my purpose early on. My grandfather was a farmer and lost his farm during the Great Depression. So I grew up hearing from my mama how hard life was on the farm, what it was like to go to bed hungry at night. And I've always felt a sense of empathy and connection to farming folk. And so at the tender age of 22, fresh out of college, I bought a one-way ticket to Nicaragua and decided I was going to go work with farmers. And I thought I would do that for a year or two, and I ended up staying for 11 years. Working way up in the mountains in remote villages that were growing coffee and beans and corn. And I was a part of all kinds of great projects that were designed and funded by well-intentioned international aid agencies. But more often than not, in my experience, we didn't hit the mark. We didn't really unleash a process of sustainable development. And I grew really disillusioned with that, and then ended up discovering more of a market-based approach. I heard about these people in Europe that called themselves fair traders. And their whole philosophy was trade, not aid. Their belief was farmers don't need our charity if we just pay them a fair price for all their hard work. I thought that was pretty cool. So I started Nicaragua's first fair trade cooperative, coffee co-op. And over a period of 4 years, we organized more than 3,000 families into this co-op. These families had maybe 1 or 2 acres of land each, so standing alone, they were victims of moneylenders, of unscrupulous coffee buyers who paid them pennies on the dollar for their coffee. But by coming together, we could create economies of scale. We could create real market power. So we were able to mill our coffee and truck it to port and ship it internationally. And by jumping over all those middlemen in the chain, we got our farmers a fabulous price, more money than they'd ever seen. So what'd they do with the money? Well, they stayed in Nicaragua, for one thing. You know, this immigration crisis that we're all talking about today is largely fueled by people fleeing poverty. And so if we are able to help folks achieve a sustainable livelihood where they live, they would much rather stay home. Most of them would much rather stay home. Back in the day, we helped people stay home. We helped people dig wells. We dug wells and brought clean drinking water into our communities for the first time. We ran health programs. We vaccinated kids. We set up a scholarship fund. Back then, it cost $200 a year to send a kid to high school. Shoes, uniform, materials, only $200 a year, but that locked a lot of people out of high school. So we set up a scholarship fund. We sent a whole generation of kids to high school, and many of them went on with this scholarship fund, went on to college. Yolanda Rivera, a woman that I frequently go back and visit when I go back to Nicaragua, one of the first kids in this program, first girl in the history of her community to graduate high school. She went on to college, got a degree in biology, and came back to her community, came back to give back to the community that has supported her. She works in the clinic there today, and she's doing amazing work. She's living her dream, and she is a role model for every girl in that community who sees that you can dream big. Even farm girls can dream big. I've got so many stories to tell about those early days. Suffice to say, it changed their lives, and it changed mine. And I realized I had a calling. After 11 years in Nicaragua, I realized that it was my duty to come home and see if I could take this model of fair trade from Europe and transplant it to the U.S. So that's what I did. We launched in '98. We turned 25 years old last year. Never thought I'd be around that long. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let me give you my 2-minute elevator pitch on Fairtrade USA. We are a nonprofit. We are mission-driven. Our mission is to alleviate poverty, protect the environment, and promote sustainable development. We work with over 1 million families today in 52 countries, mostly in Africa, Asia, Latin America, but we're also now on farms here in the US. Our role is to develop the standard, what defines fair trade, right? A 300-point checklist of social, labor, and, hey, Robbie, and environmental criteria. And then we run an auditing and certification program. So when a farm or a factory meets that standard, they get audited once a year and certified. And that allows them to wear that fair trade certified label on their product. And our market partners, the companies we work with here in the US, in turn, agree to pay more money. It's an impact premium, and it allows those farmers and workers to invest in their communities. We believe that sustainability should be rewarded. We believe that the farmers and workers who are going above and beyond to produce in a responsible way and in a sustainable way should be rewarded for that effort. So here are a couple of numbers. To date, we've signed up almost 2,000 companies, from Amazon and Whole Foods to Walmart, Costco. We work with Patagonia, we work with PepsiCo, we work with Nespresso, great brands that you know and love, who have dipped their toe in the water and tried this model out. And you'll see them with the Fair Trade certified label on many of their products. Like I said, we work with 1 million families around the world. We're in 40 different product categories, from coffee and tea to bananas and sugar, fresh fruits and vegetables, seafood, apparel, footwear. We just launched beauty with Elf Beauty. Y'all know that brand, right? And our consumer awareness has grown. For a small nonprofit, I'm really proud of the fact that now 67% of US consumers recognize the label. One of the key indicators of impact is how much money above market price we're able to generate for farmers and workers around the world every year. And cumulatively, last year, we passed $1 billion. Thank you. All right, you're not asleep. Yay! Getting it done. So, on a good day, I feel proud. I feel proud of all that. I'm a proud papa. And I know you are too. I know you're proud of the great work that you're doing. Each and every one of you are making a difference. You're fighting the good fight, and the progress may be incremental, but I know you're proud of it. And I know, like me, you also feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. You feel like you need to be doing more. I know I do. I mean, we work with 1 million families, and that's cool. But there are 2 billion families in the world living on $2 a day. So 1 million families is just a drop in the bucket. It's just a good start. And my team and I, we ask ourselves every day, what needs to be true to go from 1 million families served to 100 million families served? I reckon you all are thinking in the same terms. How do we scale up before it's too late? How do we scale up? So now I'm going to talk about technology, because I imagine, like you, I mean, I've got a sneaky feeling that technology is a part of the answer to how we scale up. Technology and data. So here's how we're thinking about technology at Fair Trade USA. In 3 ways, really. One, efficiency. Kind of a no-brainer, duh, right? Like all the stuff that we're doing in a manual way or on Excel spreadsheets, if we could automate that, it means we're more efficient, we're more effective, we're cheaper, we're quicker. More money to deploy to growth. No-brainer. Technology enables efficiency. Number 2, how about this? Value creation. Can technology and data give us the ability to create additional value for our stakeholders in a way that makes them want to do more? In a way that makes that flywheel spin even faster. Your stakeholders might be your funders. They might be your customers. They might be your employees. In our case, the key stakeholder in the fair trade ecosystem are the companies that we work with. Right? So it's Whole Foods that's making the decision. I'm going to convert my line of bananas to fair trade, and I'm going to pay a premium. So they want to know, well, what's the value they're getting for paying that premium, right? So value creation. So in the case of fair trade, what we envision is building the ability with technology and data to give data on demand to all the companies that we work with around their supply chains, around the compliance of their suppliers with the standard, around the use of the premium. So data, insights, and rich content so that they can tell the story. I mean, imagine if we could go to the store, scan a QR code, and see Yolanda's story, see Yolanda telling her story, rather than me telling her story, see her talking about the scholarship program that allowed her to live a completely different life. So I reckon in all of our organizations, technology and data give us a chance to create more value for the stakeholders that are key to driving growth and impact. The third thing I want to say is we believe technology will help us build a movement. We all sit in an organization, but we are all part of bigger, broader movements, systems. And I know that we all believe that if we can build movements, we can affect systems change. We can affect change on a much larger scale. Technology helps us do that. I mean, with communications, we can reach out to all of our stakeholders. We can share information. We can share insights. We can build trust. We can crowdsource the future strategies of growth. We can build alliances and partnerships. We can turbocharge our connectivity in a way that we couldn't before. So that's how we think about technology. And I hope that plants some seeds for you all as you think about how it might be interesting and relevant and key to what you're trying to do. I'm out of time, but I'm going to finish with one quick story because it makes me happy. I was in Costa Rica not long ago visiting a banana farm. How many here? How many of y'all eat bananas? Hell yeah. 70% of Americans eat bananas. And if you buy your bananas at Whole Foods, 100% of the organic bananas there are also fair trade. Look for the label. You'll see it. I visited one of the farms. It's owned by Dole. It's in Costa Rica. I visited it to learn about impact. The farm workers spent the whole day touring the farm with us. We heard about all the changes. Worker safety and health, reduction of energy usage, the way they handle their wastewater, dignity and respect and labor relations between management and workers, all the things that were significantly improved since they got certified. And then they puffed up and they started talking about that impact premium and how it was spent. And they took us to see this community center that they had built. Now, they saved up for 3 years to build this community center because they had done a needs assessment among the workers and they had decided that they wanted to create a center that would provide services to the community. So there it is, community center owned by the workers, run by the workers. They have classes in computer skills and English and motorcycle maintenance. They have art classes for the elderly. They have a soccer field. They have a daycare center. It's incredible. And all of that was made possible thanks to us buying bananas at Whole Foods, buying bananas with that label. Gotcha. I'm out of time. Hang on. You can't clap before the punchline. So, I'm talking to Mabel, 29-year-old worker on this farm. She packs bananas all day, every day. And she was elected head of the Fair Trade Committee that manages these projects. And Mabel said to me, thanks to Fair Trade and thanks to this center, our community has a heart. Our community has a heart. So think about that. When we go to the store and we choose products that are ethically sourced, we have the ability to keep kids in school, give a heart to a community. And every purchase matters. I want to thank AWS for having me on stage. I want to thank the organizers of this conference. And I want to thank each and every one of you.